Welcome to everybody to the meeting of the Recreation Committee on Wednesday, January 23rd, here at the town office. We'll get started and we'll go down the agenda, but we'll just do a quick introduction of everybody and start here.
Karen Rowan.
Troy Smith.
Marcus Benner.
Jim Letney.
Trevor Ettinger.
All right. With that, we'll call the meeting to order. And Marcus, do we have any citizens' comments that you would like to report on?
Nope.
Okay. With that being said, we'll move to the next item, which is the Recreation Director's report.
Yep. So we had a little extra time since we met last. So in that time, we had a high school and middle school tumbling class with Matt Hanley. He's like a tumbling gymnastics type cheering instructor. We've used him in the past. So he ran we ran one in the fall and had, I can't remember how many we had, in the 20s. And then they decided they wanted to run another 4-week session in December, and we had 18 athletes for that one. The ski club is off and running. We're in our 3rd week. And we've had 13 different people go so far. We had just 3 people went the first week. It was really cold that Friday. We had a lot of people take applications and then not come back because it was so cold. But we had 9 go last week, and we have 12 signed up to go this week. K2 basketball starts this weekend. So that'll be 8 weeks of Saturday morning sessions for kindergarten through 1st and 2nd grade. We have 21 signed up so far. I looked back at the numbers. Last year we had 26, and the year before that we had 35. And last year we had a pretty small kindergarten class, like 6 kids. And looking at the numbers now, we have very few first graders signed up. So I don't know if that's just a small class and a run of just kind of a cycle, but we have 21 so far, so we're almost at last year's numbers, and we always get a ton sign up the day of. So I'm hopeful we can jump back to the 35 range. Adult basketball ended just before Christmas. We kept running it, and the numbers just kind of kept dwindling as we got closer to the holidays. So I just canceled it for the time being. And if anybody had any interest and came to me, we could start that back up anytime. Just people stopped coming. And we were looking at doing a 5th-6th travel basketball tournament towards the end of March. It was a girls' basketball tournament, but it didn't really work out. We couldn't get the gym time. Come the end of March, baseball's in the gym at the high school and middle school, so there just wasn't enough time to get that in. So we're going to put that on hold and try again next year, I guess. Try to plan a little earlier in the year. But
Sounds just good.
Yep.
With that, the next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes, and those are the minutes from November 28th.
Yep.
Has everybody had a chance to take a look at those?
Mm-hmm.
Was there anybody that wouldn't have anything they'd like to change or strike or move? With that being said, I would accept a motion to accept.
So moved.
There's a motion. Any
Second.
second? All right. All in favor? All right.
Aye.
So those pass. And then on to old business, our survey distribution. For those that you may not have followed up, we did meet, or we had a group here that met at with the selectmen. The selectmen approved the survey that we worked on, and gave us a blessing to proceed with distribution. And Marcus was going to look into those options, and I think he's provided that with us. So with that being said, Marcus, I'll kind of pass over your homework and let you explain it, and maybe we can hopefully as a goal come out with how we'd like to proceed.
Yep. So went to the post office. There are 2,480 households that it would need to be dispersed to in Waldeboro. And the bulk rate was 21 cents a piece, so it'd be right around, as long as, he estimated, because stuff changes, especially we're in the new year and stuff, but it should be right around $520.80. So that's what it's gonna cost to just send it to them. The real decisions we had to make were, are we gonna put paid return envelopes in them? Are we just gonna do drop boxes? And then there was another one I didn't know about, which I think might be our best option, which is the business reply account.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Business reply account.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So how that works is it's a $450 setup, it's a $225 setup, and then a $225 yearly fee to keep that going. But you'd be able to send stuff out. So we'd be able to send out to everybody, and then people who return them, we would have to pay 59 cents for everyone that's returned. So it's a little more than a normal stamp
Interesting.
because it's a service.
Right.
But we only have to pay for what comes back. Whereas if we could do paid return envelopes, which is really just sticking a stamp on everyone we send out, and that's gonna cost close to 1,500-ish.
Right.
Depending on, because I think stamps are going up as well. So, looking at that, I did talk to the town manager a little bit about it, and she was kind of willing to pay out of her budget the $450 because it's something that the town could use for other things. She thinks it would be good for the town to have, and it's just a $225 setup after that every year, and we'd be able to send stuff out to people and get returns. We do a lot of mailing here where we get stuff back, I guess.
Okay.
So that she was willing to pay that. So just a quick estimate, 10% of 2,480 is 248, times that by 59 cents, and it comes out to $146.32. So right around $150 would come out of our grant.
Yep.
Because she'd pay for the $450. That's at the 10% that we hope. So obviously looking at worst case scenario, but best case scenario.
Yeah.
So if we get all 2,480 of them back, it would be right around 1,463, plus the 450, but we don't have to pay for that out of our grant.
Okay.
So that's so then printing options. Brought it up to our IT guy, and he recommended that we use Lincoln County Publishing. I looked into it today. They gave me a quote for them to print it and trifold it for us. It'd be $210 to do in black and white and $410 to do in color. Just a quick look back at how much we spend on ink here. Just to print it, just the ink would cost $175 for us in black and white and $425 in color. So it really
Yep. So.
makes a lot of sense for them to do it. That's not, the in-house printing doesn't even count paper and time
Right.
folding. And then envelopes, we'd be looking at a normal size envelope as the return, and an envelope one size bigger to send it out in, so that they can just
So
stick.
that's the 400 includes both?
So that 400 includes all 5,000 envelopes.
Couldn't we just do it, couldn't we just fold the other envelope so that you don't have to go to a bigger envelope? The return envelope, maybe fold it in three?
Does it matter? How much does that save you?
I didn't ask.
Who, you know?
You know what I mean?
We ordered the envelopes from my mom, so I can find out.
Good.
Does
I
the,
mean,
if
apparently
it's
the
not-
town did
if
that
it doesn't
before I was
really
even here.
matter,
I went and I was like, how do I get envelopes? Like, call your mom.
the return envelope, doesn't it have to have special wording on it about the
Yes.
postage return?
Yeah.
So,
Does that need to be printed?
yeah, does that need to be printed, or do you buy them that way?
I'm not 100% sure. I want to say they're bought that way. If my mom, who sells us our envelopes, is a publisher, so I think she can put stuff on the envelopes for us. So I think that price includes it. I can double check on that, but
Because we would need the proper,
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
just a
but-
blank.
postage
the
return.
the return envelope is it's not like an individual thing. It's standard. Like they're all coming back to the same address, and the ones that get sent out to people, there's no like individual addresses that have to be put on them. It's just a
Right,
blanket
right.
one.
But the return envelope here for this business reply account, when the people get the survey and that envelope and they put it in, it has the town office address on it?
Probably the PO box or something.
Correct. It has
Something,
the
and then
address,
what
right.
does it say for postage?
There's
No, not
probably
necessary, right?
Yeah.
a business reply, and then it's probably got some Q code
Yeah, so-
that identifies it and bills it
Right.
to the town,
Right. Yeah.
town's account for
Yeah.
this. So the envelope would have to come from that. We would print that on the envelope, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
The return
I
envelope.
would guess, and maybe that's something the post office can print. I'll
Ask them.
talk to them.
What about
Yeah.
Lincoln County News?
I don't know.
They can do envelopes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask them. I just I asked I went out and asked how do I get envelopes, and they told me to call. I shouldn't say my mom. Goose River Press.
So looking at the options that you've kind of categorized,
Yeah.
option 1 and option 4 are pretty much the same besides the reply
The response.
amount.
Yeah, the
response
reply
amounts.
amount. It's kind of
So at a-
what do I expect, and
Right.
probably a most expensive case scenario that would stay under, like, that's right around our grant money.
What is
It
the
would
grant?
take about
What's the grant?
2,000. So it would take about 50%, 50% of return to reach that 2,000 going that way.
That'd be
And
awesome.
and that's printing it in color. And I know it's like $200 more, and it's only that seal, but I just think it looks a lot more official in color. We can look at it either way if we have depends what people want to do.
Interesting.
Is there someone's radio back there or something?
I think that's from the hallway. Let me shut the door.
It sounded like it was the computer.
I
It
thought
was
sounded
weird.
like it was in here.
So yeah, I just threw out a few options. Obviously, there's way more than I could put on here, but it just kind of made sense. I think we can still do drop boxes if we want to. They're not going to really cost us anything outside of a box. Just sticking them places, and if people use them, it's still going to save us
Because you're not getting the business.
59 cents.
Sure.
So the sending cost is straight across the board. The drop box is nothing. Option 2, the paid return, that would be putting $1,500 on the
Yeah, I don't see that.
1,500 basically dollars worth of stamps. It's going to come out about $600 over our grant. So I didn't really see that as much of an option. And that's even printing it in black and white for as cheap as we can.
Right.
Option 3 was basically what did I do here? Oh, just the drop boxes. That's about as cheap as we can get. That's with no paid return. And then obviously, if you look at option 1 and we decided we didn't want to print in color, it would just take $200 off that. It would be $1,281.
Right. I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I think option 4 would probably be the greatest. I mean, obviously that's based on 50% reply, which if we got 1,000 back,
Right.
it'd be a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have half the people in town or households weighing in.
Have an opinion.
You know, and if it took
That was-
the full amount of the grant, then so be it. Or if the $70 to the taxpayers,
Well,
like,
even-
that's
I mean-
great information. But
Yeah.
again, I would be surprised to have that amount. But
Right. That was just to
You
kind of
know.
show us how many we could get back
Yeah.
within that grant for the most part. I just ballparked 50% and it came out close, so I put it in there.
Yeah.
I didn't go down to exactly what $2,000 would get us,
sure,
but I expected it to be more towards option 1, hopefully a little greater. But
right. But I agree with you. I think a color print would look better. You know, it obviously would pick. You know, obviously people get mail, they're gonna sort quickly, and you know, if it could kind of stick out just a bit, you know, that'd be helpful.
Is that one color or 2 colors? That price for print?
I'm assuming it's probably like one color.
Well-
But, well, actually, it could be as many colors as
Right.
you want.
Right.
the
You know,
color,
I don't know how much color is actually on the actual survey
it's
itself right
just
now.
Pretty
We-
much just the
seal.
seal.
Yeah.
But it just makes it pop a little bit more. I
Oh, you
think.
can see,
Same.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Jim's prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, you know,
Is it worth another $300 just to have that color on the logo?
Is it? I
It's
thought it was 200.
It's 200.
Or
200.
200?
I don't know.
Well, you want to try to differentiate from just your regular mail. And I don't know,
But would you
What's-
want to do the writing in a different color as long as you're going to color? Black and
think-
white is the most readable.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think too. I
Yeah.
think
I
realistically.
mean, but
I mean, there might be a chance for us to add a couple other graphics or a line in between, maybe, if you
Yeah.
wanted to make it pop a little bit more, but, I mean, yeah, it does seem crazy, like an extra $200, but I do think it would make it stand out a little bit more. And considering it is, a grant that's a sense to it, it's not, we're not being frugal with, we're being frugal with town money by using a grant money to do it. That would be my suggestion, but the key is obviously we need to use the word to get it out that we're doing this, and
Yeah.
maybe get a couple articles or press releases in the paper of that this is going to be circulating, how important it is to turn back.
Right.
Use social media as well.
Yep.
I could probably create a video of like a little
you
explanation
can
type
do
video.
that.
Yeah, I will. I could. Yeah. So
Man, that looks so official. I just put out
Right?
posts
yeah.
and get creative.
Yeah, so I'm sure we can kind of help spread the word out. I think what we need, but with that being said, if somebody has a strong objection to putting it in color, or I guess my other question for you, Marcus, is do you take all this stuff to Lincoln County and they print it, fold it, and stuff it, or are you stuffing it, or
We're
is
still-
there
still-
additional fee to stuff? Do they have that service, and if so, how much? Like
I didn't ask. I just
I know
did
2,000.
Yeah.
Is quite a few.
I just did. I just did print and fold because I wasn't 100% sure on how the envelopes worked with all the printing that needs to be done on them and whatnot. So I just did print and fold. I can ask them.
I think that business reply envelope is a 3-fold or 2 folds. I think we've gotten stuff where it's
Yeah, fold
stuffed
inward.
inside the envelope, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, I haven't. I ordered so I guess she called them number 8s and number 9s. So 2,500 number 8 envelopes, which I think are the normal size,
Standard
like a
business
standard envelope, which would be the
Return.
and then number 9s, which are just one size bigger, that the envelope and the
Trifold.
trifold would fit in without having to be folded up a lot at all.
And that's the rate that they gave you to send them with that type of envelope.
Yeah, for the
most
pretty
part,
pretty
right?
close. Yeah, I think that's why he estimated it to be right around there. I gave him the survey, and said it would probably be sent with an envelope and in an envelope with another return envelope. So
So you estimated the weight.
yeah, basically he estimated the
It's
weight.
more on the weight than it actually is the size of the envelope.
Right. I don't see it changing a whole lot, and I don't think changing the size in the envelopes is gonna change the weight a ton.
All right.
It might change the cost of the envelopes. I don't know. I can look into that.
Okay.
But
And then do you print all the labels, or do you just hand all these envelopes to the post office and they take care of that?
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's not a label thing. They have a standard print thing on it, and it doesn't have to be individually addressed because it goes to everybody.
So it goes to
Like our,
residential,
Yeah, well,
current resident or.
I don't even think they
Yeah.
put that on it. I think they just put
it's like Waldeboro household or something. It's like
Yeah.
every house.
Yeah, they don't
There's
even-
something, I'm trying to think of what the words say. But
So
Current
it's
resident
gonna
or-
go,
Current resident.
it's gonna go in the basket right away. I
There's a-
mean, you
there-
get something that just
yeah,
says.
there's
You're
a
saying
small
if
bus.
it- if it has the standard kind of junk mail envelope.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I thought we were addressing it in-house here to go to everybody.
Oh,
Do they have a label maker here, and do they
we
have
have
a?
label makers, but I don't know how that works as far as I don't know how much it would be cost to make 2,500
curious,
labels.
I'm trying to think.
think it might be worth looking, I mean, that might be one option, or looking into if the printing of the envelopes, if that has to be done, if we can get recreation survey on there, or, Waldeboro recreation survey or something like that,
Yeah.
to kind of call it out.
The
I
envelope.
honestly, I think I'd rather have that than the personal,
I'm pretty
personal
sure-
address.
So
Pretty
his
sure our envelope
recommendation would
comes
say
with a
like at
seal
an
on
angle
it.
it says
Yeah.
important Waldeboro Recreation Survey
Yeah.
or something like that.
Right,
So
something like, hopefully people that have watched the video and seen it on the Facebook would say, oh, here's,
Here it is.
Here it is. It says
Yeah.
Waldeboro.
I'm pretty sure our envelopes come with like our seal on them, so they'll at least know it's from the town.
But then it could be a tax bill.
All right, but hopefully they're opening those.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'd have
Yeah, that's
something
it.
have to look into to make it.
2,500 business reply envelopes are $216.99.
That's just over half of what I get quoted at. And that's just 20. I have this. That 400 is 5,000 envelopes.
I'm just pulling this up online.
Yep. So I'm assuming that the town sends out tax bills.
Yep.
So there must be somebody in the town office that knows or has a lot of experience sending out to masses.
Yeah.
Has anybody helped you with that, or?
A little
I'm not
bit.
putting anybody to the fire,
No,
but
they
I mean, we do some mass stuff, but I mean, more and more we've gone away from it, but
Yeah. I'm
it
not-
does take a lot of work stuffing and folding,
Trump's
Yeah.
hung up on the stuffing still.
Yeah,
Forget
you'd
calling out
be,
the survey on the
you'd be amazed at the
envelope,
amount
as
of
long as-
boxes like 2,000 represents.
More paper cuts.
Yeah, but,
Yeah. I can see what that would do to our printing cost.
I'd be curious to know what it would mean to have something printed on the outgoing envelope. Because I think that's a good point, that if it's too plain Jane, if it's not,
Yeah, if the post office is doing it, I mean, whenever I've worked at a school, we've done the bulk mailing in-house
Right.
and taken it to the post office. But we've either it's
Yeah, I
run
think-
through the machine.
right
I think everything. I think
No.
everything. The only thing we're talking about the post office doing is putting the address or wherever or whatever
that block is.
that block is in the middle of the envelope.
Yeah,
The return
yeah.
address and all that stuff we'd have to
Right.
do.
Yeah, but I think we need to address it more than just whatever their
We need to
household.
We need to call it out. You think we should have their personal address on there, or?
Something more than just household, because it's just gonna go in the wastebasket, I think.
there is a possibility of some of them going in the wastebasket, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like, I think ruling out option 2 because of the paid return, like,
Yeah.
you're just basically throwing away money for
Right.
Yeah.
a large majority.
Yeah.
We.
I do like his idea of seeing on the actual envelope that goes out, obviously trying to determine what area you couldn't print on that would be needed for the post office, but something that said
Just-
important Waldeboro recreation, don't throw away, it's one of those type things, like, I mean, obviously we get deals, advertisements from car dealerships, like important you want a car or whatever, like,
Right.
but I think if it came from the town, or even if you could print like the town seal on it, and then underneath it says or if you're talking about town envelopes, they may already have that on there anyways. but-
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's. I know it does say like town, and there might be a seal on it. I can't
Right,
remember.
because she brings up a good point, trying to differentiate it,
Yeah.
and that may be a cost affordable option of just.
I'd be in favor of going, depending on the cost difference, the black and white on the inside to get something done on the outside of those envelopes. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have the outside of it stick out and get it opened than
Okay.
the inside be a little, slightly prettier.
So it sounds like
Well,
we're.
we could
Yep.
get a stamp and it says, have it made up that says survey.
Oh, like do it-
Department
do it
survey, and
ourselves.
stamp it right underneath the return address on there or something, and, get some volunteers in here, retired people, to do that and stuff it. That's,
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, again, looking from our standpoint, I think, you know, again, option 1 and option 4 being the same.
Mhm.
I think we agree that it'd be colored print for the most part, unless we find out it'd be more
That's gonna be
expensive,
that's gonna be the deal breaker.
right?
Yeah.
And that we would use that service.
Yep.
We've taken the suggestion of investigating at least what the actual envelope itself being mailed
Mhm.
looks like.
Okay.
You know, so we, you know, is it just a blank envelope or is it one with a town seal? And if so, you know, could we purchase a stamp and do it manually or put a label on it, you know, with a sticker saying recreation survey?
Or run it through the
Or
printer
can you get
here.
it printed with it in there?
Yeah, run it through
might
the
have
printer
a-
here that says that.
I might have something in my office.
Yeah, so. Because the key obviously is you're trying to differentiate it from junk mail.
Right.
Definitely.
And then that'll be in the eye of the beholder for some people.
Well, yes.
Right.
No, I think that's a good. I'm encouraged the costs, whatever they are right here, came out that close to the grant. We're in that ballpark.
I mean, I'm just
Is
quick.
that the survey printed front and back, or is it 2 sheets?
I believe it's probably front and
Front and
back.
back. I think is what we
Yeah, that's
envisioned.
what, I
Yeah.
was just wondering when it got the cost
Yeah.
on it.
So I'm
Paper might
assuming,
have-
I'm assuming to print the envelopes would be $175 to $210. If we had to, you know, pay to get them printed.
This is roughly what we've done in the past.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
So this part is all done by the post office. They'll put postal patron,
Okay.
and it just goes to everybody. They don't put any individual addresses.
Can I see the outside again? Just Town of Waldeboro, pre-sorted standard.
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta get something else on there that says.
Do we have the capability, I mean, we have the taxes are paid here, so we know who the people are, that we can't generate labels and put them on the envelopes?
It's just another cost, and I know the post office does this for all their bulk mail. So everything that has to go to everybody, I don't think they individually address.
No, but we would individually address. I think the
Right.
bulk
But then-
mail
This
is
is still
determined by the quantity, not whether the post office does it or not, I think.
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask them. But that would all that's
Cause then it have to be sorted.
you'd be looking at 2,500 label. Yeah, it would have to be sorted. I think that's the biggest thing. That's a
Well,
good
it's all
point.
Waldeboro.
Right, but if we put actual addresses on it, they have to go through and get them in the right place instead of just they probably just count
300 to this
300
mail
to
person.
this
They
guy.
don't know how many
mail
are on
person.
each route. and
Right.
Chuck them.
Just chuck them. Yep. So it would add that, and it would cost the town an extra 2,500 labels and the ink to print them on, which I have no idea how much that would cost. But
They're not much.
That's probably not that much, but
Yeah.
still.
Let me see that.
it's just a piece of paper, but that's what.
But ours would be a true envelope, correct?
Yeah, no, that's just
Yeah,
that's just
a
a
triple
right.
fold or whatever.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what I've seen enough. That,
Yeah, I read off an old town report or something. That's what she found for me to show us what they'd be like. So, yeah, I mean, looking at option 1, I think makes the most sense, and it's just option 1, and whether or not we want to print in color or black and white, depending on the money.
So who showed you this?
Eileen gave me that.
Eileen did. So, could this be modified to say Recreation Committee survey?
Probably. I think, yeah.
Or, to Karen's point, are we better
I know.
off having something,
Different,
you know, like up in here?
Yeah.
different, larger
or
font,
color,
Larger
different,
font,
different.
different
stamp or something to
Yeah.
call it out.
Yeah,
I think,
So do they print these here? Did she print this here?
no, I think that's something that came from Goose River Press.
All right, so Goose River Press.
I can't edit that. That's our
Right. No,
Permit,
I understand
but-
that, but I'm talking about,
that that should be
that-
able to be
or-
edited a
Or
little
could we
bit.
do something here?
Maybe, yeah, probably. I could probably,
You know what I mean?
Right.
the cost might fluctuate a little bit. I'm not sure. I think that's what she based it off.
Be worth asking the question,
But
you know, rather than try, you know, sit here and, you know?
Well, I just feel that we're gonna lose control of anything if we just do it generic. I mean, that's all I'm thinking of. I mean,
yeah, I'm
Marcus has put a lot of work into the survey, and we want feedback.
So you're thinking by putting the specific name of the
Well,
resident?
it gives more importance to the survey
I
that
I don't disagree. However, what are we looking at? Price?
I
That's
have,
some-
I have no
and-
clue.
And, I mean, the
Don't
town
they
must,
have mail merge here or something that they must be able to print out?
they've sent stuff, I think,
2,500
with
labels.
labels on it. I'm just trying to, what
Yeah, I
about-
mean, our tax bill comes
Ta-
with a label.
a label on it.
Because
Yeah.
it's individual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
But-
it's the same thing.
Be curious to know like does that.
so
'Cause I
maybe,
think,
I don't know if that, if we put labels on it, I don't know if that changes our sending price.
it
That's,
may-
that's my only thing. I don't
Yeah.
know about. If,
maybe we ought to investigate.
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
I
just
can.
to see.
Okay, so let's,
So
let's
we
give
probably ought to
Marcus.
Let's make a list of what we've
Yeah.
been jarring about, so that
Yeah, yeah.
poor Marcus.
I mean, it will be from Marcus's homework.
I got it.
Marcus's homework.
The Department
and
of,
Distribution Director.
the Department of One.
Now whenever there's a mailing, hey, go ask Marcus. They put it through the
Don't
ringer.
know everything.
So we're asking him to investigate the cost of making individual labels, address labels for the town's residents.
So not just the cost
If we have
of
the
that,
capability in-house
but
of
the
sending
if that
out.
impacts mailing as well. That's
Yeah.
two separate things. Because if it doesn't impact mailing, then they're just the cost of producing them. But it may impact mailing as well.
They may have the capability of just running through the envelopes through the tax roll list. Not even a label, just the envelope, address it as it goes through. I mean, that's,
Like
But, I mean,
Lincoln County doing.
But I think the
printing.
key here is that if you just went with the tax addresses, you're gonna miss
You're gonna
some
miss
people.
people.
Because landlords have multiple,
That-
and then people
that's
that don't,
true,
like,
too.
That's what I was just thinking.
right, so
Yeah, they
anybody
might-
that's renting
They
or
might
in
not
the
have
residence
address
that's
of
not
everyone in
theirs.
town. That's a good point.
Yeah,
boy, you would think they did.
yeah.
Well, they definitely probably have an address, a physical address for every house
Yeah.
would
But-
exist,
But not.
not necessarily a
But if
name.
you're-
I think there's-
Every resident.
Right.
So if you're, as an example, if you have a trailer park, or whatever you wanna call it, mobile home park,
Mhm.
the person paying taxes is the person who owns it. Those people in the park may not get,
Correct.
because they're not paying necessarily property tax.
Yeah. So I don't
See what I'm
think.
saying? That's why
Right.
I,
So one of the questions.
that's why they,
one of the
this goes
questions.
to everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the questions is there addresses for every
Would Eileen
mailbox
know
without?
how we get it to everybody?
Sorry.
Would Eileen be the person to know how we get it to everybody?
I don't know.
I mean, from a label standpoint,
A label or an envelope?
A data,
Of
yeah,
how do
database of-
we
database of
contact
names
Yeah,
and
I mean,
everybody in
addresses.
town?
Eileen's the town clerk. Rose is our tax collector. I don't know if she's the one who puts the tax bills together, or if that's Daryl.
I'd say between the two of them,
Somebody
it would be the knowledge base to know
right.
Right.
how to do it. You know,
Right.
Let's hope so.
What we would need, what we'd need to do to get it out.
They know
Or
everybody,
they
they
may
just
also
haven't
give
written
you
it all down.
the pitfalls of saying, yeah, you can do that, but it's gonna either cost a lot more, or you're gonna have to recruit a lot more help. You
Or
know,
you're gonna miss people.
yeah,
right.
And we don't wanna do that.
right.
Interesting. Interesting. I could see them not having. I mean, because someone can move, they move in and rent, rent a house or rent an apartment. That's
Right.
that's not registered or anything like that with the town.
No, not especially unless they've registered their car, but even that's not gonna,
For a
It's
you know,
not gonna
length
get
of
you a
time,
property
you know?
tax bill.
Right.
right.
So, yeah.
Well,
But I think
alright,
it's something worth investigating, right? So we can
Yeah,
make
yeah.
an
For sure.
informed decision.
Yep.
I'll look at that.
And you can share that information with us before we get to a meeting.
Right,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'll,
So we can speed
I'll
the
search
process
this
up.
tomorrow morning and
What about
back to you guys.
with respect to,
I can see
If we
what
can-
type of,
What options we have
what
for
options
that?
we have
we
to
have.
print on the
Printing,
envelope.
can we put a stamp on it? Can we put a sticker on it? Or, you know, if
Well,
we
I
wanna
mean,
try to make it more personalized.
if they can print this, then they might be able to put,
Yeah,
you know, a survey, recreation survey at an angle,
Right.
Yeah.
correct.
which would save a lot of time. All right, so we got the label, we got,
Labels, addresses, and printing options for the envelope. What can we put on it? As far
if
as,
there's some modifications.
right.
And does that include the business reply stuff on the return envelope?
What?
The return envelope has to
Return-
have
Printed
the,
as well.
Yeah, we have to have return the stuff on the return
that has to be
envelope.
printed.
The printed return would
Is
have
that- is
our
that-
Town of Wal,
town of Waldeboro
office.
already on it, and it would say business reply or something.
Yeah.
I have our,
But
So-
do we have to print that, or is that?
so when you buy these from Goose,
yeah,
they can theoretically do this,
yeah,
okay?
I
And
think-
then we can ask them about doing the return,
yeah,
have them all done.
right.
And then when we might have, the thing that I'm thinking about, to do this on both sides, we may have to go to a heavier paper, a heavier bond paper, because it'll bleed. So that's something that Lincoln County News could tell you.
Yeah, I can't remember what they,
20 bond, 20 weight,
20 £20. Yeah.
20 pound or whatever?
they said something about a 6.
Huh?
Something about 6. What's regular copy paper?
20
20,
20.
£20, yeah.
20 or less.
And then you have a card
Depends
stock.
on,
A card stock would be like 26.
you know, you
Yeah.
can
So maybe
look
that's
at,
what you're thinking.
Maybe.
Oh, no, cardstock, you wouldn't want cardstock.
no.
No, but I'm just
No.
saying, I
Right.
think the
They gave me-
26
They gave me
cards,
enough,
so it's probably like-
I can check. I talked to him on the phone, that we're in email problems with them. They
And-
sent me a quote.
And I would think that they could certainly fold these up
Yeah, oh, that's what these are,
without,
that's with,
printed
that's
and
printed and folded.
Printed and folded,
Not
yeah.
stuffed, but printed and folded. I don't know if they stuff.
And then what you
can
could
ask
do,
them.
what you could do for stuffing, you could ask them
Ask
if
them.
if that's a service, which some have it.
yeah.
Because there are machines that actually, we have one at work that
Yeah.
does the whole
But then we
process.
still have to get the return envelope in there.
Right, yeah.
That's better than having to do both.
Yeah, I mean, if they can
You're
get,
picking up one, you might as well.
Yeah, and then after that is you need to
72,000.
logistically figure out how you're gonna get this done, if it's asking for volunteers like you mentioned, or if it's going to to the high school to see if they have a community service group of some sort that could do it, or during study halls, or student
Detention.
council. I have no idea, I mean, there's a possibility, like,
Get the women's club to do it.
that's up to you.
well,
I don't have any pull with the women's
Anybody that
club.
wants to help me not stuff 2,500 envelopes?
well, if they can stuff it over there, and the only other thing you gotta put in is the envelope, the
Yeah.
return envelope, that wouldn't be that bad.
No.
No. Yep, so, why don't we do
I
that?
mean, I remember we did it for the community foundation, we had a table, and,
Yeah.
we'd come in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd come in after work and
Just do a
work for
shift
an
and-
hour or whatever, and,
Yeah, I think like she said, if you got the word out, you probably could find enough volunteers.
Yeah, Got a bunch of old ladies in here, we'll
Why?
get it
oh,
done.
Karen,
What?
that's,
Old guys like to do it too.
oh, God.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I find it relaxing.
So is there any other tasks that we want?
No, no, no.
Is there any other tasks for Marcus as far as that's concerned?
You got everything? You know what we want?
You're finding out the options, I guess, and then hopefully we can detail it. I personally will work on some sort of communication of like we can use for social media.
Yep.
By the next meeting, and then the other thing is just where you want to have these drop boxes and what those drop boxes are. So I
Yeah.
can put that in the actual message as well, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have them at the library, we're gonna have,
Town
what
office.
spots, cause, you know, and then you'll
Yeah,
have
I
to
mean-
check with those before I can put that in there.
Obvious, like.
Town office
the
is definitely one.
Town office, library, and
Middle school.
Hannaford, maybe Miller School, those were kind of my.
We have to get permission.
Yes, we had to
Yeah.
get permission, but
Yeah.
those were kind of the first few that stuck out in my head.
Right. And Hannaford is gonna want a logistic of, you know,
How's
where's it
get-
gonna go,
how's it
you
gonna
know,
get
who's gonna
empty?
pull them out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Type stuff, but, I mean, obviously, the more options, the better.
Yeah.
And then come up with something, like every Monday you're gonna go pick them up, or every, you know,
Yeah.
or they call you or something, so.
Did we have a return date or anything when we wanted it returned
Well, that's a
on
good
there?
question.
That's something we're just.
We hadn't discussed it
Good
yet.
thought.
Yeah.
Because on the outside of the envelope, returned by,
Right.
survey, returned by.
Right at the bottom of the survey or
Yeah.
Something.
somewhere.
Yeah.
in
Or
the
on the
narrative.
outside of the envelope.
Or both.
On that
Yeah.
envelope.
Please try and
Are you
return.
being overwhelmed, Marcus?
No, no.
Oh, good.
No, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a task that he typically wouldn't have to, you know, investigate all that stuff, like.
Yeah. I thought I
but,
did a
you
good
know, that's-
job. I had a whole paper out here.
No, that's
I'm
good.
pretty excited, yeah.
No, I mean, there's
It's just more quiet, it's like all the stuff you didn't think of, you're like,
Right.
oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. Live and learn.
Now I'm fascinated to see how this turns out, like, all. This is my first.
I mean, the other people in town that send out mass mailings would be the library.
Yeah.
And you could check with them to see
The post office.
what
guy
they
kinda
do. Like,
talked
they're the only
about
ones
it.
other than the actual town office itself that
Yeah.
I can think of that does it
School district.
within the town, yeah.
The guy at the post office said that most of the times the library has done it, they've done just a piece of paper, trifolded and stickered together
Yeah.
with no type of return. It's just a information
Information.
stuff.
Notification.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Breaking ground.
So they printed it the way they needed it anyways.
Yeah.
I got you, so that's a little fun factor.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think that gives you some homework, I guess, Marcus, not that you needed homework.
Yeah. Not too
And then
much.
we'll go forward. I would think as you get the information, you can just share it with us.
Yeah.
I mean, some of this we don't have to.
Should be able to.
We could either come up with a consensus, or the next time in the meeting we could be quickly decided upon.
Yeah.
With that being said, I guess we could move to the next, which would be agenda item, new business, programming ideas or needs.
This was something that came up at last meeting. I think you had mentioned it, so
Yeah, sure.
threw it in here.
Yeah, so I mean, I obviously just, you know, we've been obviously tasked really, you know, to come up with, you know, the needs for the towns or not need of recreation center and those tools to do so. But obviously, you know, from my experience, you know, a rec committee also can help guide or try to gather information of different either program ideas or events or program or things that the rec department can deliver to the town to make it, you know, ideally a better place to live. With that being said, you know, program ideas or needs, you know, I don't want to step on, you know, there's things that obviously we could try to do. I mean, without having a building, we are limited to obviously school space. But I do know that there obviously are some times and needs and or some stuff that's open, whether it be right after school or if it's, you know, Friday evenings, or maybe there'd be some time that we could do like an open gym or investigate, you know, if there's any money in any of the budget to hire a supervisor so it's not you.
Yeah.
You know, to open up Miller School for 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon or something along those lines. I mean, I could see that in the wintertime as a need.
Mm-hmm.
But
Warren does open gym on Sundays, I think.
yeah, you know, just a chance for kids to go without a coach yelling at them or to play and do some type of stuff. I know we talked about pickleball, or if there's, you know, time to walk at the church, or just even finding out what those times are so we can publicize it and let people know of some options. Or is there any place that that could be groomed or skiing, or is there anybody out there that has a ski groomer or something like that? Like, you know, maybe even just doing a path around the baseball fields somewhere, you know, so people could come either walk in the winter or. Again, I'm not trying to give you any more work. I'm just saying that there must be some other options, or
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's the next step after we get through this survey, is to try to figure out, you know, what are some of the other needs for the town or
Yeah.
desires. I'm sure those are just some quick ones from me, so I'm sure everybody likes to weigh in what you should be doing.
The ice skating.
People at home?
Ice skating rink, can that be put in a more visible place?
That's something that's been discussed a lot. It's just hard. The biggest drawback to that one is that it has to be on town property for insurance purposes. And the town doesn't own a lot of visible property outside of this property, and there's not a flat spot for it at the moment. We've talked about it. We talked about leveling out the front lawn a little bit and putting it out there. And then
Is that practical?
the big concern with that was gonna be parking
Yeah.
and worried about our
EMS.
EMS and fire being able to get out.
What about down at the ball field?
Visibility.
It's not any more visible than 80 Gray was.
Yeah.
It is flat. Right now it's not plowed, so that would have to be something that would be plowed. As of right now, I lock the gate at the end of October and it stays locked until April. We could open it up and plow it, but it's gonna be more for the public works guys to do. And I don't know how it works. I've never put it on grass, and I think they put it on grass over in Damascotta, but that was another
Is that a bad idea?
worry.
You're shaking
We-
your head.
well-
Either it's not a problem or that's
Well,
not a
I would
good
just
idea.
speak from our experience, the town, you know, 'cause for those listening, I also work for the town of Brunswick as the deputy recreation director, and we have 3 rinks. One rink that is on grass that's got like the boards, it's a hockey rink.
Yep.
They're also very fortunate, we have downtown mall
The
that has a
common.
gazebo or common
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
It's called, we call it the lower mall.
Okay.
And the upper mall is closer toward Bowdoin College.
Yep.
But that gets flooded, and we put a giant rink there.
Yep.
And then we also have another one in the parking lot of our swim facility, Coffin Pond, which is on the driveway, dirt driveway. So when you put it on a natural surface, you're depending on consistently cold temperatures, and you're creating frost. You're creating, you know, so the hard part with that is you have to soak it. You gotta, you know, or hope for a hard frost, you know, drive it in, you know. But what's been difficult this year, like we just got ice maybe 2 weeks ago or a
Right.
week ago, because you'd have it almost done and you'd bank it in with snow, and you know, again, we're putting 2 or 3 guys out at night flooding it, and you could lose it. And we had like 2
Yeah,
days of
right.
50-degree weather,
Yeah.
and you lose it.
Yeah.
You know, and all it takes is
Yeah.
one little thaw spot, and it drains. It's amazing.
Right.
So it's a lot of maintenance work. It's a lot of,
Yeah.
and we've talked and we've looked, and we're still exploring options, because it's a valuable part of the culture of downtown. It's nice,
Right.
but it's very hard to maintain and to keep it. You know, and a lot of people don't know like what's actually entailed
Right.
into
Well,
it.
ours had a liner.
Had a liner. We just threw the liner away. It was
Right.
torn. That's why Kyle had stopped using it, was because it was broken.
Right.
I dug it out. They wanted me to do it.
Right.
I was all right. I stuck some duct tape on there,
Right,
and
got it
super
going
glue,
one-
and the fire department came and filled it, and we never quite got the ice level because it kept leaking out the one
Right.
side.
Gotcha.
And we got a foot of snow,
Yeah.
and I'd have to go out there and
Shovel it.
snow blow it off. And then 2 days later, we just get an inch of snow, but I'd still have to go out there and snow blow. Like it was, I bet it was like open and clear to skate like 7 days out of all last winter, with just how
So we
often we
need a
got snow.
pavilion over it.
We'd be better off, in my opinion, going to Moody's Diner and saying, or Moody's, and saying, hey, can we maintain that pond?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Than
It's-
trying to create like,
Yeah,
'cause- and that's, you know, obviously you have some safety concerns
Right.
of that, and it's not town property, so it's not an option. But
right.
to do that, you know, like we snow blow it, and then we roll it, and then we water it and like
Yeah.
it's a lot of maintenance and it's a great plus.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's just for a department of one, it's very almost
It's
impossible.
not a no maintenance.
It's almost impossible, and you
Yeah.
would need like direction from, above. Just say Town Works, you'd have to assist and clean it and clear it, and
Yeah.
Good luck.
would be my opinion. And they're busy,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm not in the point to say that's something that's viable, but
Yeah, yeah, it took, I was out there a lot last year just trying to keep it clear. And, if you don't get to it right away, you get some snow on there and it gets hard, it gets crusty.
done.
And the water wasn't working at 80 gray last year, so I had no way to like Zamboni it.
And then the other problem is with a liner, it's very nice. It's a good option if you can develop quick ice and then you just have people that at the end of the season or when the ice is
On there too
bad,
long.
they're on it too long and they cut through it, and then you ruin
Ruin
a
your
very
liner.
nice
Yeah.
liner.
So right now,
And, there's no way you're going to be able to police it or expect the police to go through.
Right. So right now we're down a liner, so we don't really have a rink. To replace it is just over $1,000, and I just
No.
didn't see it worth it this year.
Right.
If I had I think it would be a different story if I had a group, even if it was just like 10 people that were like, we want to help you with the ice rink, let's do an ice rink. I'd order it, and if they could help me take care of it, and we could get it in a public place where it's visible, I think it would work.
Right.
I just can't do it myself.
No.
It didn't work.
But I think, as we're talking about program ideas, the difficult part with any direction that we're going to give is going to feel like it goes directly to you. And I think your job as a director more is to try to find people in the community that have either certain skills or desires, and then try to groom them into being able to lead that or direct it. Like,
Right.
so like if I was saying, hey, you need to do K-2 basketball, I'm a basketball coach, and then I'm going to help lead it,
Right.
which I am. But there might be somebody in this community that's really passionate about cross-country skiing and would love to work with winter kids and find, or organize a family winter festival
Kathy doing the ski program.
type.
Yeah, that's exactly how that started.
Right, and then there might be other people that have other skills that I'm not mentioning that could, but again, is how do you reach out to those people? How do you pull them in?
Right.
And I think from your standpoint would be welcoming those people with those suggestions and then trying to find the answer to those, like, and we get some crazy suggestions as well.
Yep.
in Brunswick, and weed some of them out, but some of them you can find some really good people, or the teachers may have a skill or want to run an after-school art class and partner up, and a chance for them to maybe make some money and also develop a program. But I don't know if anybody else has any other thoughts, but
Just going back to the survey,
Yep.
the sign out front that says, "Welcome to Waldeboro, the town of Waldeboro,"
Mhm.
return survey.
Yep.
Put it in your tickler file too.
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Put that out there. Actually, when I sold Funtown Splashtown tickets in the summertime,
Mhm.
not this year but last year, like the first month was pretty low. Like we didn't have that many, and that was right when we got the sign, and I put it up there, and it like skyrocketed our sales.
yeah.
People
Well, that's
read-
another way of
people read it.
advertising the survey is coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Survey is coming. Don't
As
throw it
well
away.
as-
Yep. Yeah, especially when we know when we're sending it.
Yeah.
Yep. Expect survey this week,
Yeah,
return
right.
by
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
Great. Any other items for upcoming agendas that we'd like to discuss, or? I think obviously our first task is trying to get this survey
Be very
out the
curious.
door.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what comes back.
And then, what is your, this is a question for Marcus more, is like your budgeting process, when does that start? Is that started, or
Yeah, I
you
got
like?
it. I got it last week. It's
Yeah.
pretty much filled out.
Huh?
Unless you had other ideas, I can bring it in and we can look at it.
No, I mean,
Doesn't- it's,
I mean, that's something we could review if you wanted to, or if we felt
Yeah.
it was worth it, or if there's items that you think that we should be supportive of, or if somebody else thinks we are supportive of.
Curious to know what that process is, and just in general. Like,
Yeah, they email us a link and it's just a spreadsheet, and it shows like the last 2 years and what we what we've budgeted for the last 2 years, and you know what I've spent money on. So I just kind of go through and look at what I spent money on last year, what I need this year, anything different, anything I don't need anymore. And then it's pretty easy for me because most of the stuff I budget for that's like field maintenance stuff all comes from one vendor. So I just get
Gotcha.
a pre-season, Sports Field sends me a spreadsheet of what everything's gonna cost this year, and I just
Oh.
plug the numbers in. So
And
like
do
last year I put in, like this spring, we're gonna de-weed and reseed the rec complex.
Right.
So that was something I put in the budget last year, but it doesn't need to be in this year. It's like a once in every 5-year thing.
Gotcha.
So
Is that where the line, if that was something that's gonna be done, is that where you need to plan for next year's
yeah, this is
skating kinda?
yeah,
If
kind
that was
of
gonna happen?
yeah. So this budget, the budget I hand in now, will take effect July 1st. And
Okay.
Fiscal year.
go until June 2020.
Right.
So it's the rec budget isn't huge, so
No.
a lot of it's pretty similar. I plug in, there's like a conference I go to, I plug in what that costs, and then the senior trip, I plug in $1,300, because I
What's the total budget, just out of curiosity,
think it's right around 84,000
for the rec?
for the rec, just for the
Okay.
rec, yeah. So,
Which includes your salary and
Which
benefits.
includes
my,
your
my salary and
benefits.
benefits, and then,
So the
Maintenance
real
fee.
reality is 25, I don't know.
What?
How much do you actually have to play with as far as your
Oh.
programs?
yeah, not a ton. I mean, I only have a few lines in it. Most of it's field maintenance, it's the
Mhm.
senior trip,
Mhm.
and it's like just repair stuff or big replacement items. Like if one of my soccer goals went down, I'd probably put that in there. But as far as like jerseys and uniforms and soccer balls and
So what are you talking,
T-shirts and-
$5,000?
in the budget,
Yeah.
probably more than that. I
10
don't
grand?
make that much money.
What I'm saying is that money, let's say you get $10,000 a year to work your program. There are some years if you don't have to work on the field because you've done that last year, can you manipulate that?
Yeah.
To do other things that would be beneficial to the program?
Yeah, I could.
Do you have some flexibility?
Yeah, I could put in there whatever I want, and then it's up to the budget committee and the select board
Right.
to approve it.
All right.
He takes his budget to the manager, the town manager
Right.
makes the manager's cuts, and then she takes that to the budget committee, and the budget
But
committee obviously.
but once
goes
you
through
have
the
that final number.
Yeah.
You have flexibility, they give you a number, this is what you got.
Yeah,
And then you can,
yeah, and it goes into our computer
Play
system.
it.
It's all
You know what I mean?
lined in our computer system. So I'm supposed to try to stay within
Stay
my
within
lines.
normal.
oh, no,
But
right,
like this
right.
year,
What
like,
he's saying, I think what he's
this year-
trying to say
What
is
I'm
that
looking at,
though it's earmarked, it's not truly
Truly
earmarked.
earmarked.
Yeah.
It can be
I can
based
use
on
it.
your decisions or a decision with the manager
Right.
that you can purchase something else
Right.
in lieu of.
Right. So
or
like,
if you're gonna go above and beyond,
This
something
year-
can come
So-
from something
so-
else.
this year our senior trip went over the $1,300 budget, but I didn't. I think I budgeted like $250 in paint, and I didn't end up needing paint this year. So that money,
could be utilized.
as long as that last number stays.
Well,
in the
what I'm
black.
looking at, if, to put a program together, you gotta look at short-term goals, you gotta look at, midterm, what's the 3-5 year program? And how can you manipulate your budget so that you can get these things as these surveys might bring back?
Right.
When we get them back, they may say, oh, wow, that's a real hot issue. How do we get it there?
Yeah,
How do
do-
we get the monies to do it?
Right.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at,
Do you inflate it any percentage, or do you have any reserve in there for replacement?
Like if a goal does break. or-
Yeah,
Yeah, not a ton. There's a
contingency plan?
yeah. We have. I mean,
Or
there's
line? Or do you know?
no. I don't have any lines like that in my individual budget. I try to
But
keep that.
Town must.
The town has like
Reserve fund.
Reserve. or
Yeah, I don't
reserve
know exactly
fund.
what it is, but
Not much.
if I had any major issues, I think
That can
there's
change.
stuff in there for bigger projects.
Okay.
I also have my revenue fund, so all the money that I bring in, like I said, I normally spend it on.
Kind of a slush fund.
Yeah,
It's just
No, it's not the right
operating
term.
revenue and
Yeah.
expense. right?
yeah, it's all the money. I mean, when Kyle started it, back when the rec program started, it started with $0 in there, and it just K2 basketball makes so much money.
Sure.
Soccer makes money.
Soccer makes money. The rec.
Right.
And that,
It's basically a revolving account
Account.
that goes
Yeah.
from year to
Exactly.
year that cannot be put towards
Right,
appropriated
and
funds.
all
And usually
money,
it's,
all money that I've brought in
Right.
from my programs.
and there's usually like bylaws or something in the ordinance that states that these funds are, approved to be spent by the director for so much.
Right.
Anything else,
Yeah, I think it's up to
it basically
like
would cover
1,500.
maybe emergency goals,
Incidentals.
incidentals, or all of a sudden, there's enough money in that account to purchase, a giant project or some,
Right.
a new scoreboard or whatever that may
Right.
be, and also if you got any, outside contributions, a place you could
keeps
put
rolling.
those.
Yeah, it rolls and it ebbs and flows.
sure.
Like I said, we have like K2 basketball and soccer are big money makers. We make money off selling the tickets, and then ski club breaks even. I just charge what the tickets are worth, and then our summer rec camp loses about $4,000 a year. So the other ones kind of pay for that, and then whatever else we do kind of.
Right.
Well,
Kinda
the
ebbs
reason
and
why I'm
flows and
asking
adds.
that, when we get these surveys back, we all know there's gonna be certain things that are gonna be hot buttons. And, can we look to the future as to how we would help you develop a budget, or at least with the town, saying, this is the constituents of our community. Maybe we have to be a little bit more flexible with the budget. Or how can we plan so we don't have to do this major thing this year, we can do it next year or the year after.
Correct.
You s-
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Because
you know what I mean?
the survey could lead, for example, 65% of the returns said there needs to be more gym time.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe we can't afford a building, but can we take that information, go to the budget committee or the town manager and say, hey, we'd like to put another $10,000 into your budget for part-time help to supervise the Miller School
Right.
gym or the junior high school gym. So it's not you, but it's helping to address those needs, or they want pickleball time. You need somebody to supervise it, somebody there to collect the fees if you charge fees and type of stuff where it shouldn't be expected to be just one person.
Right.
And that's what you're most likely gonna find out in the survey, and people are gonna show what they want, and,
Then how do you
and to answer
accommodate
his
that?
questions
Right.
is how can we get there, with 5-year planning, whether it be a building or whether it be
Right.
And we-
programming implements, so you don't have that jump where the taxpayer is gonna say, how come your budget went from 80,000 to 150,000?
Right.
You're trying to do a 90% jump, whereas, okay, we'd rather look for 10 or 15,000 this year, like.
Longer
Yeah.
game.
I mean, it's a game, but
Well-
it's as you build, then you're gonna need more resources,
Right.
both through physical people and
Right.
through money.
And what other physical plants do we have in town that we might be able to tap into?
Right. Yeah,
The VFW hall, that isn't used all the time. Maybe the American Legion,
sure.
maybe the Baptist Church, they have a gym. I mean, just trying to think of ways that we don't have a physical plant just yet,
Right.
or ever. What else can we do?
Yeah.
Do you guys do ice skating over to MRC?
No.
That might be an option as a
Yeah,
another
Sarah
program.
Gladio's been going over there
Yeah.
last couple weeks.
Right.
It's a
And it sounds
beautiful-
like it could be like a similar thing to.
Yeah, it might be a ticket program, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there might be
I
some
could talk to
small
them.
things that you could,
See what they have to say.
It's a beautiful facility.
yeah.
It's nice.
Yep. So yeah, it's just thinking, and we do long-term plans here at the
Yeah.
office. It's more like I hear it around the office. It's more like the public works and the EMS because
Oh, yeah.
they're
Right.
buying big trucks and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But
But we don't care about them. We
right,
care
I'm
about-
just
Hey, rec
Yeah.
We've
department
got the
needs a
record
truck.
pad. That's right.
town
You ought to have
town
a-
truck I use.
Do you have a gas card?
I get reimbursed. But yeah. So I mean, the one thing that's kind of been, as far as long-term plan that I've been thinking about more and more is some type of storage facility for myself. I got to take. Right now, I have a corner of the mezzanine at the Public Works garage to cover it over with tarps because it gets so dusty up there. I have to lug everything up and down a big flight of stairs.
Sure.
I mean,
Did you put it in the budget?
no.
Put it in the budget.
I haven't researched it a lot. I don't know how much like a 20 by 20 shed with a cement pad would be.
Call Shed City and ask them.
Yeah. That's something I've
And
thought
put
about.
it in.
But
They'll know it's there.
yeah. So, it's just
They're
yeah.
meeting on Thursday night.
No, she's good. She goes to meetings. She knows it's a process.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, for Waldeboro Days, do you do any kind of a money? Well,
Everything I do on Waldeboro Day is free.
I'm just saying, people may not remember that, and you could have a jumping room where they charge 50 cents or something. and-
Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff on Waldeboro Day. They have a couple of bounce houses and stuff. The stuff that I run a home run derby, and like some like lawn game type stuff.
Is there anything you could do
I
to
could
generate some revenue?
I
Well,
could
it's-
charge for the home run derby. I just never have.
Typically, a municipality doesn't truly do fundraisers. It could be like a friends
That's
of
called Texas.
a friends of Waldeboro or like a boosters club or
Right.
those types of activities. Like would do something like along those lines, or even going for sponsorships and stuff like that. Typically, are done. I mean, a town can do a sponsorship, but usually fundraising isn't done by the town.
Right.
In those type of, because
Right.
you're putting pressure in a situation where
Right.
but if you threw out a letter to every business for a sponsorship, that's a different thing.
Typically, the Waldeboro Day Committee, and I'm on that as well, we try to keep anything with respect to just making a family day to celebrate whatever the major thrust is for that day. And really, the vendors and stuff, the people buying food and that sort of thing is really what they charge. I don't think there's anything, to my knowledge, was there a cost to getting involved in the home run derby?
No.
Or
They
the
charge
bounce
for the-
houses?
They charge for like
They
the
charge
bounce
for the
house and
bounce
stuff.
houses,
Those
yeah,
are
and the
fundraisers
dunk
for
tank.
Those are the fundraisers. and
For
the dunk
football
tank
and
for the
cheerleading.
football and cheering.
yeah.
For other
Okay,
nonprofits.
but I mean, as far as,
Right.
costing to get in or anything like that, it's,
Yeah. I just kind of run it as a free fun thing for them.
Yeah.
Lots of people come out and hit. It's a good time.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it may be worth 10 or 15 minutes for us to see the budget and go through that process with you.
Sure.
Okay.
And
I'd
we,
be curious to
I mean,
just learn about it.
most people at this table obviously are biased and supportive of recreation, so
Sure.
we would, if you said, hey,
Down to zero.
if I need 10,000 for this building and this is why we need it, and then we would, support that or not support it, and then
Sure.
it'd be up to, with the support of the recreation committee, we recommend $10,000 for this storage, as an example, but.
Yeah. It's just something I've been thinking about. Like
Well,
it's
as a-
5 miles
As
up there.
as a
and back,
one-man
whatever.
show, it's very, very difficult.
It takes.
It's more than a load of
Oh,
soccer
yeah.
balls.
I took it up. I took all that whole load of soccer balls up today. It filled the whole back of my truck.
Right.
And
Yeah.
It takes a while.
course
Panel
it
van's not a
does.
bad idea.
What?
Instead of a shed, get a big panel van.
Panel vans.
Drive it field to field, here we go.
Yeah, I've thought there's a bunch of different options that
Mhm.
you could just get a shed. I talked to a couple people about do I put it at the ball fields where
Right.
my stuff is? Do I put it out back here so I can keep a better
Just-
eye on it?
Right, it's nice and
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been talks of the baseball parents with Bagley Field. A lot of that really involved Little League group is coming up, and they're going to be using Bagley Field for the next few years.
They talking about
And
a
they're-
concession?
They kind of want a concession.
Yeah, I'm
Stand.
surprised, because they had 2 tents and 5 grills.
Right. So I don't know if they're willing to raise the money for that, or
Or something you could piggyback to get
to
Yeah.
get
storage
to
from
get
there.
storage from
Yeah.
it. Right.
Yeah, those are all good options,
Right.
but
So it's just been,
Interesting.
yeah, just stuff I've been mulling over in my mind. I figured
New soccer balls.
I got some of those last year.
Well, we can have a think tank
Yeah.
session.
Yeah.
Looking at the budget and, hey, there's nothing wrong with throwing ideas out.
Sure.
And then come up with strategies. I
If you
mean,
do
you
a
know, you
Bagley
can't do
field
it.
and it's not plowed, then you
Marcus,
need a snowmobile to get in there.
You can't,
That's
you
true.
can't do it all yourself. I mean, I think the shed out back would be
That's
ideal.
where I'd
Yeah.
stick it.
You know,
yeah.
in all
Yeah,
honesty,
it's-
but-
and, yeah,
But you're right, to
it's-
have it
it's
close.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not another putting it out back here. It's not another concession stand that people are gonna break into. And
That's true.
stuff like that.
Right.
I know I talked to John over in Warren on
Mhm.
championship Saturday for
Yeah.
soccer, and he said he showed up and his press box, his concession stand, and his equipment shed all got broke into the same weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, because he does have a building right there.
Yeah,
yeah, he does.
Yeah, but no one's back there. It's the same
Right.
situation
It's out of
as
sight, out of
being
mind.
at being
Well,
at Bagley
yeah.
and
In most
Superman.
fields, you're gonna find that. We have the same
Yeah.
problem.
right.
Yeah,
So
so ideally,
yeah, just
know.
it would just be nice, you know. Like I said, it's a hike up there to the town garage. I got, you know, I have to be reimbursed for gas when I go back and forth there. I have to hike them upstairs.
Sure.
And I just stick them in a corner and cover them over with a tarp.
makes it easier to
Well,
distribute for
and
season.
then you can
And your
really,
time is
you
worth
can really
something.
organize
Yeah.
it
I
too,
mean,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, the
I
time
mean,
it takes.
all that is
It takes an
built
afternoon.
into your budget proposition,
Yeah,
I took
presentation.
said I took a whole. I finally got my arms healed up, so I took a whole truckload of soccer balls up there
Sure.
today and brought the basketballs down.
But there might be other departments too that are in need of storage space
Yeah.
too. So you might be able to piggyback some of that, or
Exactly.
even an expansion. Who knows how long this new truck's gonna be? You know, who knows? Like, you know, it might take up some of this more space inside. That EMS is gonna need more storage. Like,
Yeah.
where you actually build a building, like, or you know, or you add on to this building of sorts.
Yep.
You know, the shed's good, but it has a certain life.
Yeah.
But cool. So you know, maybe we can for the next meeting put that as an agenda item. Review a budget and maybe, like he
do
said,
some brainstorm. You know, just,
have everybody come with some ideas.
yeah. Well, plus, I mean, and
So we
also
just
put
tonight,
programming
but you're
ideas
just sharing
into
some
old
of your
business.
needs.
And couple-
It gets the juices
Yeah.
going as to how we can
You go to all
help.
those, right?
You
It's
know,
so funny you
go
say
to
the
most
shed.
of
I'm
them.
like, well, no kid. I don't know how many times I heard you or Kyle say,
Okay.
"Oh, I gotta go up to. I gotta go get." You know what I mean? Like,
I gotta go up to
that's-
storage.
That's
It's a-
that's
it's a trip.
Yes, no, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like that's a that slows down the whole process
Of course it does.
when it's all out
Yeah,
there.
'cause you're,
Yeah.
You know,
Ice
and to your
hockey.
point, it's probably not doing it any favors
We're
being
gonna
out there.
miss quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah. The one thing it has over a shed is that it's in part of that building that's climate controlled.
Right.
So, I mean, but it's like I said, I go up there, and there's 2 tarps over it, and I got like a stick that I pull them off with, and I come out of there and I'm just like covered
Sure.
in dust, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not.
But
one to
no,
get-
but
there's better ways of doing it. It's just time and money.
Alright. So I take a, next meeting would be,
sorry.
It's- oh, yeah.
fourth Wednesday, our fourth Wednesday, which would be, looks like the 27th,
Yep.
which would be Wednesday after school vacations,
So February 27th,
February 27th.
I-
Tasha's birthday.
I probably would not be here.
Okay.
I will know.
Okay, okay,
In Colorado.
okay.
That's Wednesday. We always do Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, yeah.
Fourth Wednesday of every month.
February.
I would be available the 20th if that does work out better for other people, but my meeting on the 20th got moved, so.
So we're looking at the 27th?
Right now, we're looking at the 27th would be our normally scheduled
Yeah.
fourth Wednesday.
Okay. 6 PM?
Yep.
I mean,
That works best for everybody, or?
yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm taking a trip sometime in that range, but I almost never go anywhere on a Wednesday. It's usually like a Thursday to a Sunday type thing, so.
Well, again, let's
Problem.
tentatively put it for the
Yeah.
27th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If for some reason you're gonna be communicating with us with what you find out about the mailing,
Yeah, that,
and we find out that one or two of us aren't gonna be here, and, you know, you may wanna touch base with, you know, Raymond and Kelly, just to
Yeah, if you find out
to
this
see.
stuff, we probably would wanna wrap this up
oh yeah,
before there.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get most of this stuff done tomorrow, and if I have to hear back from people next week, hopefully I can get all the information to you by next week sometime.
Okay.
That's kind
All right.
Beautiful.
With that, I'll take a
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that's a wrap.
You keep learning more and more about this recreation. It's like a Paul Harvey. I know the rest of the
Knows right now
story.
for the rest of the story.
Is that a power pad, or do you just
Yeah,
have
it's
two
a-
phones on top of it?
Well, this is